What's up, you guys? It's Myra.
And it's Kristen.
And we're just confused.
Welcome back to another episode. We are diving straight in today. Myra, what are we talking about?
We are talking about all of the awkward situations that we've been in.
All of them?
Girl, all that we can fit in this hopefully less than an hour long podcast.
Honestly, because I'm editing this week and I want to keep it low.
Oof, I have a thick list though.
You really do. It's not even like a thick list. It's just like they're so good, like the stories.
They're just detailed. Like the details I cannot leave out because I need
the story.
I need all the viewers to be in my shoes.
No, absolutely.
Like I need you to feel what I felt.
I won't let you leave out the good details.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So since we have so much to cover today, we normally have like different subpoints like, oh, today we're going to get into this and then to that. No, bitch. We are just talking about awkward situations.
One topic and that's it. Straight through.
Yeah, we're just going to get you with all these stories and don't forget to subscribe.
Hopefully you feel secondhand embarrassed and feel bad for us.
Oh, I love that. Secondhand embarrassment.
Please.
Yeah, just a fair warning. Mine are not quite as detailed as Myra because my brain has a habit to just block everything out. So
no, I have the curse of reliving these horrible memories and just being like, why did I do that to myself?
I know. They're so good though. They're hilarious. They're really good party stories.
Yeah, they are. These are my first day icebreakers. Everything that you're about to hear.
I know. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's do it. So I want to start off kind of mild. I sort of came out to my ex-boyfriend and told him that I had a crush on his cousin.
Oh.
Yeah. So I graduated high school and I was dating that girl that we talked about in the last episode.
Right.
And I came out to him because we were still really good friends. And I was like, hey, I feel like I should tell you this. I'm bi. And he's like, oh, that's great. I'm happy for you. That's good. Like, Aww. Awesome. Yeah, he's really supportive until he was like, how did you find out? And I was like, well, I'm kind of seeing this girl. And he's like, oh, well, good for you. You know, it's only been a few months since we broke up.
Right.
And I was like, mm-hmm. But I was like, yeah, I mean, I met her while we were all at the beach together. You know her. She's your cousin, I think.
She's related to you.
Right. You saw her at Thanksgiving, I think.
I was going to ask that. Like, did you see her at, like, his birthday party and the whole family was there?
No,
and you were like, why am I with this loser? Like, I need to be with her.
Oh, my God. No. So it was that same mentality, but at the beach. Like, I remember I was almost crying because I did not think we were in a good place. And I was like, you just, like, he thinks I'm ugly. Like, he doesn't think I'm pretty. He just doesn't want me anymore. He thinks she's hot. She has bigger boobs than I do. And then she was just like, no, Myra, you're beautiful. Everyone should want to be with you. You're amazing. I was like, you know what? I love you. Like, I do want to be with you. So that's the moment where I snapped. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is it.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, that happened. I came out to him. And then
what did he say when you said it was his cousin?
He was just like, oh, yeah, like, I knew there was something there. Like, I could tell that you kind of liked her, but, I mean, it's cool. Like, we're not really that close.
Oh, wow.
But it was still weird. Like, imagine if we worked out and I went over to her, like, parties. Or,
right.
Oh, my God. That was such a
God,
bitch move.
That's crazy. Like, yeah. I couldn't imagine being in the reverse situation. Like,
literally. Like, I'm so glad they weren't that close.
Right, because can you imagine if they were?
Right. Oh, we would all go out to eat for, like, her birthday dinner. And
like,
I'm like,
I understand good family values. Like,
but, like, I'm still hurt. I'm so sorry for listening to this. I know you know who you are.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like, our stories are so specific. Like,
we're not going to say any names, but they know damn well
who you are.
Who they are.
Yeah. That's true. I actually had one of my friends that listens to the podcast from high school, and he was, like, telling me that he could really identify each person in the story.
Goddamn.
And I'm like, I'm really sorry, but I don't think they listen to the podcast, so this is their own fault.
Right.
Like, if you want to defend yourself, shoot me a DM. We'll have you on the podcast. Like,
speak your truth. Tell your side.
Right. Like, we're open.
Hello?
Yeah, if you hear the podcast, you want to come up on here, say a little defense cheer, come on, sister. Bring it, but...
Remember, we're editing.
Right. I was just about to say that. But sometimes it may not make the cut.
Control-Alt-Delete, post.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, I'm also going to start out heavy. Oh, wait, no, you started out mild.
No. Mild, bitch, mild.
I don't know if I have a mild story, but like whenever we decided that this is what we were going to talk about today, I knew immediately this was the first thing that came to my head. Like, this is one of the most awkward situations because it talked about a death in the family.
Oh my God, Kristen.
We're starting strong, sisters.
This is not mild.
It kind of is. In comparison to the rest of your stories, it's going to feel mild.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so here's my deal. I have a really bad joke that I think is hilarious. So anytime, you can totally roast me, by the way, if you don't like this joke, but anytime I am like on an icebreaker situation, like there's a new person in the car, I'm on a date, you know, I'm just trying to ease the tension or whatever it is, and we drive past a funeral or cemetery.
A cemetery.
Yeah, we drive past a cemetery. I always go, oh my God, that's that cemetery. Oh my, did y'all see on the news that like that cemetery is like one of the most popular cemeteries in all of Texas? And everyone's like, bitch, no, like who, like what? And I'm like, yeah, like it's so popular that people are dying to get in there. And that's my shitty joke.
Oh my God.
So I know it's a bad joke, but it's literally so funny to me.
To you.
I don't know. It's like I'm well aware that it's a hit or miss joke. So but every time I've said it, it automatically is an icebreaker.
It kills?
Yes, it kills. That's so good. But yeah, like it always loosens people up in the car, and it's like as a conversation starts, people are like, wow, Kristen, you're so dumb. I'm like, yeah, I am. Let's talk about it, you know? So it always hits really well for me.
Right.
So when I started a new job, I worked with like an events team, and we were on the way to an event. And mind you, this is my first scheduled event.
Oh my God.
With the team. And they had been working together for like years, and they were just like cracking jokes left and right. And I was like, oh my God, they're funny. Okay. I'm going to try my joke.
My turn.
And I'm like 17, and everybody else is like 23, 24. And I'm just trying to make my way in the world. So I say my joke. I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, have y'all heard about that cemetery right there? I can't believe that that's the one. And they were like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, that cemetery that we just passed. Did y'all see it? And then my friend or my coworker, he goes, yeah, we've seen it. I actually was there 2 weeks ago because I had to bury my aunt.
Oh my God.
I immediately don't tell my joke.
No.
Yes. So I just shut down, and I'm like, oh.
Oh my God.
And he's like, yeah, so like, why were you so excited? But like, what about it? And I was like, no, like, I heard that they're like really reasonably priced.
Your aunt got a really good deal.
Yeah. And he was like, I mean, I guess, but they're still dead. So is it really reasonable? And I was like, how much further?
That is terrible.
There? It was so uncomfortable. Like, I killed the entire conversation for the rest of the ride.
Oh
like,
my God.
No one talked. But I had no idea. It was my first shift. I had never talked to any of them. Like, had I known that his aunt just passed away, I obviously wouldn't have made my joke. But I was completely oblivious. And
Jesus Christ.
that's like the first awkward situation that comes to my head. That, and then like my traumatizing one at school. But we'll get into that later.
Right.
I feel like we have to take turns here.
I think we do too. I'm just going to go
Just to
mild
pace
to like the most
Medium
wild.
rare.
Medium rare. Yeah. I'm going to do that. So another kind of mild story. It was my 21st birthday, and I was at Gringos with my family, my mom, my dad, and my two little brothers. Younger brothers, by the way. They're like, 15 and 13?
No, they were younger at the time.
Yeah, I guess like 14 and 12.
Yeah.
So I'm ordering a margarita, and my parents are, being parents and just talking to me, like asking me what I want to do with my life, and like they're so proud of me. And my mom is like my best friend. My dad is like my cool dad. Mm-hmm. So my dad knows nothing about my sexual history, of course.
Right.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Also, I forgot to tell Dad to not watch this video. I just gotta text him and be like,
just
hey.
do it right now. Hey, Dad, if you're listening, just go ahead and stop, and just don't tune in for the rest of this episode. You're not going to be happy. So
Right. Love you, but
we love you. Yeah.
Stop listening.
Please. We'll give you a little bit.
So the way my mom and I are, we're super, super close. Like, I tell her almost everything, and she tells me almost everything. It's like almost unhealthy, but we're like best friends. Mm-hmm. So my dad was telling me that I need to be safe out there. And I was like, what do you mean be safe out there? And my mom's like, oh no, she's safe. She's safe. And I was like, what are we talking about being safe? Like
I have mace.
Like anti-guns or like what? And then he was like, no, like just, you're 21 years old. You can do whatever you want. I just want you to be safe out there. And so knowing what he means, I'm like, okay, got it. My mom's like, oh no, yeah, she's safe. She's safe. Like, trust me. Like, I tell her all the time she's safe. I let her know what to do. Like, she's letting me know what she's doing. She's safe. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Mom, what the fuck? I'm like, I'm really not safe, but thank you for believing in me. So my dad's like, what do you mean she's safe? What do you mean she's already? And so my mom's trying to explain that I am having safe sex.
Right, but your dad is like, please protect yourself.
Right. Like, I am the Virgin Mary to my dad. Like, I am still a virgin in his eyes. Understandably.
Virgin Maida.
The Virgin Maida. It's the same letters, just scrambled up.
Right. Like if you have dyslexia.
Yeah.
Edit that out.
So I'm trying to fucking comprehend what's going on in front of my younger brothers listening to this and watching me being like, yo, what do you mean by saying?
Right. Like, what, does Myra need to strap up?
Right. Or strap on. Which one?
Oh my god.
So I am just sitting there with my quesadilla and my fat margarita, and I'm like, where do I go? I'm in this booth. I can't leave. It's
Yeah,
my
you can't.
birthday. And then they're paying for it, so, I have to stay out of respect. But yeah, my dad's like, oh, so you are ready? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, since when? I was like, no, we're not gonna do this.
Yeah, no.
Just yes, and that's it. Like, no names, no age, no nothing, just yes.
Oh my god, I can't even imagine. Your dad is
Yeah.
so scary.
He is so scary.
Yeah, like very intimidating. I think I didn't say it in the other podcast, but whenever I had my first boyfriend, I was more afraid to introduce my boyfriend to Myra's dad than I was to introduce him to mine.
Yeah, my dad literally called my ex-boyfriend a punk in front of his face.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Also, any
That's him-
male friend you have, he's
that's
like,
him being
what's
nice."
this doing here?
right.
I'm like,
He's like, get that out of
game
here.
night. It's game night.
Right. Like, this is my best friend.
This is a platonic game night. And he's like, unacceptable.
Right.
Oh my god. I'm kind of glad that your virginity talk with your dad happened at a dining establishment because mine did as well.
Oh, I love that.
So mine was, my parents had told me that like my mom needed to go to the other side of town to go get her eyelashes done. And I was like, okay, cool, like I'll go with, because we usually go to the mall right after and I'm all for a free shopping trip. So we went, and my mom was in her eyelash appointment and me and my dad were starving. So my dad took me to Denny's, and I'm literally sitting there and I'm flipping through the menu trying to decide if I'm getting a Grand Slam or a Junior Grand Slam. And the waitress comes and she's like, hi, what will you have to drink? And I'm like, oh, can I get a chocolate milk? And my dad's like, yeah, coffee. Hey, are you a virgin or what? And I was like,
Oh my god.
I was so stunned. And the waitress is still here.
She's still there?
She is still there. Like, my dad was so quick about it. And I'm like, what is going on? And so she was just like, okay, coffee decaf.
Oh my god.
I'm like, ma'am, just get the fuck out of here, Natalie. Like, please go
Bring
somewhere.
fucking both.
Honestly, I'm like, bring him 2 fucking cups. He's gonna chug them.
Oh my god.
So I just like put my menu down and I have to process the fact that he literally just asked me that in public. And it was out of nowhere too. Like, I don't like
Right.
my boyfriend at the time and I had only been dating for like 5 or 6 months. So I really didn't expect him to ask me because, whatever. I was probably like, what, like 16, 17? I think I was 17. I'm gonna give myself the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, and so I was just like, what do I say? What do I say? Like, do I lie? Do I lie straight to his face? Now I'm taking too long. Like, since I'm taking too long, he's gonna know if I lie. Like, it's very obvious if I say a lie right now, I should just tell the truth. If I tell the truth, it'll be understandable why I'm taking so long. I'm like, okay, you know what, Dad? I'm not a virgin.
Damn.
Just like that. And he just like takes his little coffee cup, because she was real quick. I think Natalie wanted to know how the conversation.
Literally me as a waitress.
She was just trying to figure out what was going on. But he just puts his cup down and he's like, well, what does that mean?
I love how he's understanding of the open concept of virginities.
Right. And I'm like, Dad, I was like, it means that with, yup. And he was just like, well, are you being safe? I'm like, yup. Like,
Another great question.
yeah, I was like, these are all really good questions for the car. Like, I was so uncomfortable. And he eventually like dropped it because I was clearly uncomfortable. And then just like for the rest of breakfast, it was just like this big elephant in the room. And when we got into the car, like, I had this overwhelming sense of confidence where I was like, you know what? I'm a woman. Like, I can speak my piece. So when we got to the car, I was like, do you still want to talk about it? And he was like, obviously not, Kristen.
Oh my
And I was
god.
like, oh my god. And he's like, but you need to talk to your mom about options here. And I'm like, what? And he goes, does she know? I'm like, no, I don't just go around telling people that I lost my virginity. And
See,
he's
I
like-
do.
And he was just like, you need to get with your mother and you need to discuss some options for, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, Okay, yeah, I can I
Yes,
can do that.
yes, sir. Oh my god, that's crazy. That is the exact conversation I had with my dad about asking to be on the pill. I asked him when I was 17 before I had sex, and I was like, I'm not having sex yet, but I want to be on it, and if you say no, then I'm still going to try and experiment.
Yeah.
But, I want to be safe. And he's like, well, just use condoms. And I'm like, well, duh.
But like, it's better to have both.
Right, and I explained it in this metaphor, and I was like, you know how you have, like, a squad, and you have your best friend.
You didn't do that.
Yeah, I was like, the condom is my best friend, but, like, when she falls through, I have my other best friend to back me up.
You're so annoying.
And he was like,
Which best friend was I? Was I the condom or the birth control?
bitch, you were fucking birth control. You got my back all the time.
Okay, good.
You're a
Hell
backup
yeah.
with a backup. Squall. But he was like, get out of the kitchen. And I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll ask you in 6 months when I try again.
Oh my god, yeah. I don't know, like, I understand why it's a very uncomfortable situation.
Right.
But, like, they have to understand it was way more uncomfortable for me than it probably was for them. Because, like, the entire time I was having that conversation with my dad in the middle of Denny's, I was just thinking, like, oh my, like, I was just picturing my vagina in my head. And I
Oh
was
my
just
God.
uncomfortable.
Literally, when my parents asked me about being a virgin, all I could imagine is like a super quick flashback of all the sex lives that I've had.
Oh my God,
Like
me
I saw
too.
every single guy in my head, and I was like, oh my god, they know,
But
they
mine
know.
was only that one guy, and it was a very sorry experience.
No, mine was literally all of them.
Oh my god, yeah.
It was like the moment before you die and you see everything in a flashback. That's
Right.
what it felt like.
So if you are a parent out there and you're thinking about having that talk, maybe do it not in a public setting,
Right.
or at least do it after the main course arrives.
Or don't out your child to the other parent.
Right. That would be,
Also, don't do that.
that would be really, really good for
My
y'all.
mom to this day still says that she didn't do that I did it on my own because I gave too many hints. But
no.
no, mom. Mother, you did that.
That was you, sister. I mean, or it wasn't, Miss Marlene. Please don't get mad at me. This is Kristen, in case we sound too similar. I just want you to know. I'm really sorry, and I back you up fully, 100%. Please accept me.
You know what? No.
Please believe me.
So this guy was mentioned briefly in my regrets.
Oh my god,
Segment.
yes. I'm so excited for you to tell the story.
Yeah, she knows the story. So talking to you guys. So I went on this date with this guy, and the outfit of his choice, like I said in the last one, was his slides, Longhorn basketball shorts, a jacket zipped up halfway with his hair coming out, with no shirt underneath.
Yeah,
and
no undershirt, just a zipped up hoodie.
and his hair as an accessory. And
But he
then
had just woken up.
right, backwards hat, greasy hair. That was his fit. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm wearing a push-up bra and skinny jeans. I look fucking hot, and you don't. So this is interesting. Like I thought we were gonna try something.
Right.
So, backstory, I was curious about this guy in bed because, I'm not going to explain myself. I was just curious.
I was like, I don't know.
I have no other reasoning because I still don't know right now. So, this was the game plan. We went out to go get snow cones. He couldn't afford them. They were $5 total for the two of us. So, I paid with my debit card because he had nothing on him. We ate our snow cones.
Wait. You're not going to tell him about how you got there? You're not
Okay.
going to talk about the form of transportation?
Okay. See, this part, I'm not too upset at him because, so his truck. I understand the people that are our age, we don't have the best types of cars because, they're handed down.
Right.
But this guy's truck, he picks me up and it looks like, it's not his, it's like his dad's because I know what his truck looks like. So I get in there and the windows don't open or close. I don't have a seatbelt. And
No seatbelt. Say it one more time.
no seatbelt.
Okay.
And the door doesn't close all the way. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking for my seatbelt because, I'm safe as hell. And I'm like, oh, hey, am I missing something? Like, something's not here. Something's not right. And he's like, oh, no, babe, I got you. I'm going to just go like this. And he puts his arm over me.
Oh my god, I did not know this part.
Yes.
That's so good.
And I was like, we're still in front of my fucking house. I still have a chance to leave, but I don't. And I'm like, oh, you're so funny. Like, I want to go. So he revs his fucking engine and we leave. So then we go get snow cones and the lady says that, it's $5.25. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm sitting there eating my snow cone. And he's like, hey, it's $5.25. This is a pattern where I'm in the car, in a guy's car.
Right.
And they make me pay. And I'm like, fast food, snow cones, I shouldn't have to pay.
I cannot relate.
Like, if you want to be with me, you have to pay for me.
you have to pay $5.25.
I am a prostitute in your hands. Pay for my services.
Ew.
So I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'll give her my card. So I pay for it. We park. And this guy just talks about how he got hurt at work and he's using his painkillers and he's abusing them and he's obsessed with his ex-girlfriend and his ex-girlfriend left him for a tall black dude, which he was not. And I was like, you know what? Sounds like I should have done that also. I'm just regretting all of this. And so we get to his house, which I did not want to go to because I told him I want to go home. And he said, okay, well, let's go to my house instead. Let's watch a movie. I was like, no, I kind of want to go home. Like, I'm done.
Right.
And he's like, no, like, just go to my house. And I got to pick up my charger and, like, we'll go to your house after. And I was like, okay, fine. So we go to his place and I say, I don't want to go inside. I don't want to meet anybody in your family. Let's just pick up your charger and go. So as soon as we park, his mom sees me from her car. She was like, oh, hi, who is this? And I'm like, oh, hi, I'm his friend. And so he's like, just come down with me. Let's get my charger and go together. I'm like, fine. We get off. I meet his brothers. I meet his brother's friends. I meet his dad. I meet his uncle. Everybody in his fucking family with his last name.
He couldn't just, like, nicely, silently walk you to wherever you had to go.
Literally, we stopped and talked to everyone that we saw. He gave me a tour of the house. And then he was like, you know what, let's watch a movie here. I was like, you know what, fuck it, fine. Let's watch the fucking movie.
Right.
I'm leaving in 2 seconds anyways. I'm calling my best friends. So I changed the number to all my best friends to mom to save my ass because no one was picking up.
I'm sorry.
And we go upstairs. First of all, he doesn't have an HDMI cable to plug into his Netflix. So I'm like, oh, so what are we going to do? There's no Netflix. And he's like, oh, you know, I was just thinking, no, like, no, get the fucking HDMI cable. Like, we're watching something. I'm not going to sit here with your ass. So I go in his bedroom and there's no bed. Absolutely no bed.
I'm confused. So it's not a bedroom. It's just a room.
It's literally a storage room of empty liquor bottles and a TV with no cords.
No.
No toilet paper. No nothing.
Oh my God.
Because I needed to pee and I was like, hey, you don't have any toilet paper. He's like, oh yeah, my bad. And I'm like,
just not take a shit in his own bathroom?
Literally, like, do you wipe your own ass with your hands? I don't understand where it
I
goes.
wouldn't be surprised.
I don't.
He
I don't
probably likes
understand.
how it feels.
Yeah. So there was no bed. There's one pillow and a down sheet. Not a comforter, just like a sheet on the carpet. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll sit down right here. And he takes a fucking pillow. Right.
Boys are so stupid.
And I'm like, I have back pains, bitch.
Right, bitch.
Like, ugh. And then he puts on this fucking movie with Denzel Washington that I did not want to watch. And as soon as it comes on, he tries to kiss me. And I'm like, you know what?
Ew.
I need to go to the bathroom. So I go to the other bathroom. I text all my friends like, hey, call me in 2 seconds. I want to go home. I'm scared. Like, I am being attacked. So I go back in there and I was like, you know what? My game plan is if I act like a terrible kisser, he'll not want to be with me anymore. And he'll just be like, no, I have to go home.
You're right.
Like, I'm going to kick you out now. So this was my game plan in the meantime where my friends are picking me up. So he starts to kiss me and I ram my tongue inside his mouth as far as I can reach. And I'm like, you know what? This is terrible for me, but if this is my way out, fuck it. This is my way out. Like, I will go out like this if I have to. I will let him shame my name if I can leave right now.
I love that for you.
Like, I know I'm excellent. But if he tells all of his little high school friends that I'm terrible, fuck it, fine. I'm terrible.
Right, exactly.
Just
they
don't
all
see. Don't
work at Baskin Robbins anyway, so they are not thriving. It's fine.
Don't ever see me again. So I do all this stuff. I start making weird noises. I start biting his lip. He's like bleeding, all this shit. And he's like, oh my God, you're so fucking hot.
Ew!
And I'm like immediately cringing. I'm like, oh my God, I want to go. I want to go. I want to go.
That's so bad.
So finally, my friend Lindsay calls me and she's yelling at me. She's like, you didn't pick up your dog shit. You snuck out of the house. Where are you? Where are you? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry, Mom. I have to go. I have to go. So I tell him I have to leave and he gets really upset. He's like, just tell your mom that you're with your friend. I was like, no.
That's not how it works.
I can't. She has my location on. She knows I'm at your house.
Yeah.
So I make him drop me off in his truck and he's literally crying. I'm not making this up.
Yeah, no, I remember her telling me this.
So I get in his truck and he's waiting for me and I'm like, oh, I forgot my wallet upstairs. I'll be right back. So I, again, walk past his whole family, get my wallet, come back downstairs and I see him outside of the truck listening to Khalid on full blast on his phone speaker, not his radio, on his phone speaker. And he's crying. And so I'm like, oh, hey, are you ready? Like, I want to go. I'm in a good mood now. I want to go home.
Right.
So I get in the truck, and he takes a whole minute to get back in. And when he gets back in, he's wiping away his tears and sniffling. And he would not look at me in the eyes.
Oh, no.
So I'm getting dropped off. And he's like, you know what, Myra? You could have just said you wanted to go home. And I was like, no, I have to go home. I'm sorry. Like, I'm on my period. I don't feel good. My mom's mad at me. All this shit that I made up.
Right.
And he's like, you could have just told me. Like, I want to see you again. And so he drops me off. And I start to walk out the car. But he's like, no, wait. And then he kisses me again with awful tongue, and he fucking loves it. I'm like, you know what? No, this is not my plan.
Whoa.
I wanted you to hate me.
Right.
So he blew my phone up after that. I blocked him. I was like, you know what? I hate myself. this is it. This is the moment that I hate myself.
I genuinely was so disgusted whenever you told me you went out with him, and I was like, why? Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm a very open and accepting person, but this person has been the same.
Literally.
He's been the same for the longest time, and it's like, whenever you're like, oh, he'll grow out of it. Like, no. He grew into it.
He grew into it.
And it just, like, wasn't a good look. I don't know.
Yeah, it was the worst date. Oh, and the crazy thing is that he lived in another city, and he drove down from that city to my city to take me on this date.
Yeah.
Like, he was desperately wanting to date me. And I was like, that's really sweet of you, but this is how you try.
I feel like if people don't understand that, like, he really is such a lazy person, that they're gonna think that you sound like a bitch.
Yeah, but, oh my God.
You'll have to understand, like, the situation that Myra was in, like, he would talk her up whenever they were texting in the other city, and they would be like, oh, like, I'm gonna take you on a really nice date, like, I'm gonna show you a good time.
Yes, he would brag and like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I'm excited. Like, I was excited to see him because he made it seem like this really big thing.
Yeah,
like,
especially since it had been going on, like, he had been trying to take Myra out on a date for years.
Since we were in high school together, and then we had already graduated. It was 5 years of all this talk, and I was like, you know what, fine, you seem like a nice guy, you are my friend, let's do it.
I will give him that. He is a nice guy.
Yeah, but
He's very sweet, but it's just like he doesn't know how to talk to women, and or to, like, how to be around women for that matter.
Yeah,
that is really awkward.
Like, I'm sorry to put you on blast, but this literally changed my life.
You literally cried. That's crazy. I can only think of one time where a guy cried in front of me, and it was because I was breaking up with him. But then we ended up getting back together, so it was like, I don't know. I remember him telling me, I don't know why, I just got so emotional.
Bitch, wipe your fucking tears.
Honestly. And oh my gosh. Okay, I should talk about that because that was a very awkward time.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. Side note, guys can cry. That's totally fine.
Oh, 100%. Like, it's not awkward that he cried.
Right. It's just awkward that he cried because I needed to leave because the kiss was so bad.
After a 30-minute date. That was what was awkward about
because
it.
I was dragged into this date. I was dragged to this place I didn't want to go to, and then he cried because I wanted to leave.
Yeah, like, we are all for men expressing their emotion. Like, that's no shade at all because he cried. It was literally just the fact that a 30-minute date put him through that. Like, that was wild.
Right.
But so I have this story about this guy that I dated. I mentioned that I dated a Zumiez employee openly in my regret segment, and that is still going strong. I still do openly regret that. But one time I tried to break up with him because I wasn't happy in the relationship. And so I went over to his house. I asked him to go on a walk with me. And he knew it was coming because he was so mad. I was like, hey, you want to go for a walk? He's like, why not just do it here?
Oh my God, I remember you told me that.
Yeah, he was like, the location isn't going to change how you feel, right?
Wasn't
so why not
it, like,
just do it here?
In his driveway?
Yeah, and I was like, dude, like, let's just go for a walk. Like, it'll be better, And he's like, I don't want to go for a walk. Let's just do it. Let's just do it right here, Kristen.
Oh my God, he doesn't want to fight you.
Yeah, like, square
Let's
up.
fucking do it. Let's fucking do it, bitch.
And he was so mad, and I was just like, okay, listen. I want to say his name so bad, like, it almost falls out every time. But he was just like, listen, or I was just telling him, I wasn't happy where we were, and I didn't feel like my expectations of what the relationship could be were being met, like, at all. And he just kept telling me how I wasn't being the one that was trying, and he's like, it's not fair, like, you can't expect this to be a real relationship when you're not allowed to spend the night. And I'm like, what?
Excuse me? How fucking old were you?
I was like 17.
Oh,
and he was just like,
God.
I always have girlfriends spend the night, so I don't know how to handle the situation when you're not allowed to spend the night. You're not allowed to go on overnight trips with me. You're not allowed to, like, go on vacation. I'm like,
oh my God. Okay, honey, you're not 17. Asian.
Literally, I am an Asian.
And 17.
And I'm in school. Literally. And, like, he had graduated already, so he was just, like, oblivious. And so we ended up breaking up. And then he was so, like, slightly aggressive when I was explaining to him why I wanted to break up. But then the second I said the words, okay, this is done, he started crying. And I was like, okay. So now we're crying. And so then I didn't know what to do because I did really, really care for him. Like, that's the one thing I'll say, like, my relationship with him, I was so captivated by him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he started crying, and I just wanted to, like, be there for him. So I was like, why don't we just go for a walk and like it'll make you feel better? And he's like, okay. So we walked and we talked about it, and then he walked me to my car, and then he started crying again, and he literally opened my door, sat in my driver's chair, and started crying in my car.
He sat in your
He
driver's
sat in the
chair?
driver's chair. Yeah, he opened the car door to sit down, not for me, but for him to sit down and cry about it.
So you couldn't even leave.
I could not. Right, exactly. So I was just like
What?
sitting there.
I did not know that.
Yes, it was so awkward. And so I was sitting there and he was crying, and I was just trying to like tell him like, look, if you really are this upset about it, like
You'll let me go home?
Right. I'm like, if you're upset about it, then like let's talk about it. Like let's figure out a way to work it out. But he was just like, you don't want to work it out, like we can't work it out. And then his mom opens the door to his house, and she's like, what are y'all doing out there? Are you gonna come in, girl? Come on, it's dinner time. Like, aren't you gonna come in? And he literally stands up. I will never forget this. He stands up crying. So he's very red in the face, and he just looks at his mom. He goes, Mom, go inside, we're breaking up.
Oh my God.
And I didn't know what to do. So I was just like waving at her like, yeah, sorry.
Oh my God.
And she goes, well, is everything okay? And he goes, we're breaking up, so no. And she just shuts the door, and then he sits back down. And I'm like, what do I do?
Oh my God.
What do I say?
Why did he sit down in your driver's
He
chair?
was so emotionally distraught that he needed to take a seat. And he opened my door and sat down in my car. And he was there for like a good 10 or 15 minutes after that. And I was just like explaining to him that if he genuinely wants the relationship, then he would have worked for it. And I ended up going to work, and then he drove to come see me at work and like asked us to like get back together and stuff, and then I ended up caving and we got back together. But I just remember it being so awkward every time we broke up, because we broke up like 4 times. But yeah, just for his mom to come out,
Oh, that is so weird.
I didn't know what to do. And honestly, that's the last time I've ever seen her.
I mean, I would hope so.
Like in the time that we got back together, I don't remember seeing her.
Didn't she still follow you on Instagram?
Yeah, she followed me on Instagram for the longest time. And I remember like whenever I got the job with my like the sports job, she had commented on that picture, and she was like, you go, girl.
Thank you.
But I was like whole ass dating someone else.
Oh
like,
God. That is so weird.
Yeah, dude.
My most embarrassing moment is that time where I hooked up with that guy from Tinder.
Which
And
time?
literally.
Which time is that?
I spent the night at his house, and oh my God, Dad, please tell me you're not watching this.
Honestly, if Dad's watching, you're gonna get a text immediately.
Because this involves my dad. So my dad had texted me prior, like maybe a month before, that I needed to pick up my little brother and take him to school that morning. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I'll do it like Friday morning. I got it. So weeks go by and months go by. And the day before I have to pick him up, one of my hookups is calling me. And he's like, hey, let's, hook up. Let's hang out. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's fine. I totally forgot about my prior arrangements. I was like, yeah. No, I didn't remember, because my plan was that I was going to go to his place. He lived close to my house.
Yeah.
And then I was going to spend the night if I needed to, and then go straight to my dad's place as soon as I was done.
Right.
And then pick him up, take him to school, and then I'll be done. Mm-hmm. And then I was going to go to sleep. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I can make this work. So I went to his house, and we ended up falling asleep afterwards. First of all, it was a terrible time.
Right.
We both did not have fun. Mm-mm. So that was the last time we saw each other. But afterwards, I wake up.
No, bitch, you were asleep. I'd get to tell this part.
No,
I
wake up to banging.
No, I'm going to talk about what I went through.
Okay, timeline. Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
first me, then you, because I'm still sleeping at this point.
Okay, so Myra is asleep, and I wake up to an angry phone call from her mom.
Mind you, my mom
me-
is in Las Vegas.
Yes, her mom is not in the same city, state, whatever. So I get a phone call from her mom, and whenever her mom calls me, I know Myra's in trouble. Mm-hmm. So in the past, whenever this happens, when Myra was in school, I'm like, oh, she's at the library. And then Myra would just text me where she's actually at, right? I lied to cover her ass. But this time, couldn't do it. Myra's not in school. She was off from work. Like, there was no way for me to come.
I don't think I told Kristen that I was going to that guy's house.
Yeah, and she didn't tell me where she was going. Normally, Myra always tells me. So at this point, she's calling me. She's like, where's Myra? She hasn't answered her text. Like, do you know where she would be? Did she say she was going out? And the last thing I heard from Myra was, I'm so tired. I'm going to sleep, from the night before.
Yeah.
But that was before you had left to go to that person's house. So her mom is super worried, and I'm like, I'm now worried at this point, and I'm like, okay, well, let me call her a couple times. And she's like, don't you have her location? And I don't want to put Myra out like that. So I'm just like, no, I don't think so. Like, I deleted my text the other day, so I think, like, I don't have the location anymore, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so I track Myra's location, and it literally says she's, like, less than 2 miles from her house. So I'm like, okay, that's really weird. Like, maybe she literally did just go to her friend's house or something. But she only has 2 friends, so not plausible. So I text her a million times. I'm like, bitch, wake up. Your cousin is calling me. Your mom is calling me. If you don't wake up in the next 10 minutes, your cousin is going to drive to your location. I don't know where you are. Are you okay? Are you safe? Where are you? I'm blowing up her phone because I know that if she doesn't answer me or answer somebody, her cousin's gonna just ruin her day. Yeah. So I'm like, dude, I gotta get a hold of Myra. I'm calling you, I'm texting you, and you're not answering. So at this point, I genuinely believe that something is wrong. And I send your cousins your location. And I'm like, this is where Myra is. Don't tell her mom. And I just, yeah. Okay, now you can go.
Okay, so I'm at this guy's house, and mind you, this is the second time I'm meeting this guy. We're just hooking up, and I wake up to his mom banging on his fucking door, and I'm naked, laying in bed, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is that noise? And we're not waking up, like, we're both heavy sleepers, but I don't want to tell him, like, get up. So after the third time she's banging on the door, because he lives with his mom. And I'm like, hey, just go open the fucking door. Like, I'm trying to go to sleep. And so I totally forgot what I was supposed to do. I didn't realize that it was like fucking 9 a.m. I was supposed to pick up my brother at 7.
A Myra classic.
Right. So he opens the door, naked as well, hiding his fucking junk through the door.
Right.
And he's like, what do you want? And she's like, someone from Myra is here? And I'm like, what? So I immediately wake up and I'm like, what the fuck did she just say? And he's like, yo, your cousin's here? And I'm like, what time is it? So I grab my phone and I see all of these texts. My dad's mad, my mom's mad, Kristen's mad, my cousins are mad. My grandpa called me and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I immediately grabbed all my clothes that I could find. I grabbed my keys. No,
you don't grab your keys.
Yeah. So I just grab my phone and my clothes and I run outside. And so as soon as I open the door, I know everyone's awake because his family's awake and his family woke us up. So I have bedhead, like sex hair. I'm walking out. I'm following the tiles on his floor to the front door because I try to remember what it looks like at 3 a.m. Now it's 9 a.m. So I'm walking outside and I open the door and I see my cousin. She's my roommate, so she sees me every morning and she knew I wasn't home. And she's like, I am so sorry. I didn't know you were at a hookup's house, but your mom's really scary and Kristen was worried. And I'm like, it's okay. Let's just fucking go. I want to leave. So I look at my car and I'm like, I left my keys inside. And she's like, you know what? Let's go. Just fuck it. Let's go. She's like, just tell him drop it off later. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Fuck it. So I'm in the car and she buys me kolache. She buys me coffee. And I'm like, dude, God, what the fuck? Yeah. I had plans with Kristen to go shopping. So Kristen comes over and I tell her everything.
Oh, and if you're worried about her brothers, like who the fuck took them to school? I did.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want Myra to be in more trouble than she already was. So I literally just drove to her dad's house and I was like, hi, I'm here for the boys. And he wasn't even home. It was just the boys. And they were like, where's Myra? I'm like, she's tired. Okay, where are we going? I'm like, who goes to what school?
Right. Oh my God, Kristen's a real one. But I remember my dad finally calling me and I think I either answered his call or answered his text, but he was like, so where were you this morning? And I was like, oh, I was at a friend's house. I got drunk and I fell asleep. I'm sorry. Yeah. Because I felt like that was more plausible and more respectable than me just fucking some guy that I just met.
Right.
And he was like, if you want to tell me you're just fucking some guy, then just tell me. And I'm like, you know what? I am falling asleep right now. My phone doesn't work. My phone is off. I'm sorry. So I didn't mention it at all again to him. And then this was years before my mom outed me, telling him that I was not a virgin. So yeah, I just remember explaining to everybody that was worried about me.
That was like a genuine awkward situation for everyone involved.
Everyone. The mom of the hookup, me, my cousin, my dad, my mom, Kristen, my brothers who had no idea where I was at.
Not a clue. And I remember I was trying to make small talk with them and literally every other thing that came out of your brother's mouth was, where's my dad? I was like, why do you miss her so much? Isn't she a really bad driver? Aren't you excited to be in my car? Look, my AC works. Look. And then they were just like, she's not really a bad driver. And I'm like, okay, well, don't tell her I said that. And they were like, yeah, I won't. And then literally fucking ratted me out. It's fine. Like, I'm not bitter about it. If you're listening to the podcast.
They're not.
I mean, later on down the line, when you're 30 and you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter about it, youngest. But to the youngest brother, not the older one.
Oh my God. But yeah, I remember. And then Kristen went to take me to the hookup's house and pick up my keys.
Oh, yeah. And I really wanted to know what he looked like.
I didn't want to get out the car. I was like, Kristen, you go do it. So Kristen went up to his door, knocked on it, and was like, hi, I'm here for Myra's keys.
I was so excited, y'all, because I had never, like, when do you get the chance to meet your best friend's hookup? Like, when does that ever happen? And it's like, every guy that Myra always hooks up with, they never have a picture on Instagram.
Right.
So it's like, I want to know. Like, I need to see, like, I can show you the world. Like, I wanted to fucking know. So I pull up and I do my super excited knock and I'm like, hi, I'm here to pick up Myra's keys, the Honda. And he's like, okay, yeah, hold on. And my first thought was like, why don't you already have this ready? Like, we literally texted you that we were around the corner.
Right.
Like, who else was at this door? Who was coming? So that was such a fun day, though.
It was. And then afterwards, after we both discussed that it was a bad sexual experience, we were not compatible with each other, he was like, hey, so when's the next time? When are we going to do this? And then when I say no, literally, he would sell me his mixtape. And I'm like, I'm not going to check out your SoundCloud. I'm not going to buy your mixtape. I'm going to block you.
Right.
And I was like, we don't do this. First of all, I'm not going to hook up with you again. And I'm not going to buy your mixtape.
Yeah.
That's done. But yeah, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to forget about this forever.
Oh my God. I wish that I could forget about this day at work that I had. I wish I could forget about it forever. So
Which one?
This isn't, I guess it is an awkward situation, but it's honestly just an embarrassing moment in my life. So I work for this school who is very much like an interactive school. Like, we do a lot of dances every morning with the scholars and like, we have a lot of social media aspects that surround and promote what we do at school. So I'm a substitute, so I'm not involved in the faculty emails or in the staff meetings. Like, I don't know what goes on that day until I get there and I read my sub plans. So my sub plan said, come in, pick the kids up from assembly at 7:30, blah, 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 like normal day. Didn't say anything special. So I come in and it's like a Thursday. So I'm still in my normal work clothes because everyone's in uniform except on Fridays where you get to wear the casual school t-shirt, the spirit shirt. So it's a Thursday, so I'm not wearing that. So I walk in and every single person is wearing our school spirit shirts. And I'm like, no, it's definitely Thursday. Like, I know it's Thursday. It's not Friday. And so I'm immediately thrown off by that. And then I see my principal and they get on the mic and they're like, okay, let's do this one last time. Run it again. And I'm like, whoa, like what are we running? And by this time I'm walking to my class. So I'm in the middle of the gym, like in pursuit of my class, to go take them back. I'm like, what does she mean? Like, what are we running back? And then all of the students jump down to like this crouching position and their fists are down, their heads are down, like they're about to be like the best flash mob you've ever seen in my life. And they're all crouched down. Even the teachers, every staff member is crouched. I am the only one not crouched. I am the only one not in the spirit shirt. So I'm like, whoa, okay, like that's weird. Do I crouch? So I crouch down next to my class.
Oh my God.
And my scholar is like, Miss F, do you know the dance? And I'm like our morning assembly dance, because we have a morning assembly dance that we do every morning to like wake everyone up. And I'm like, yeah, I know the dance. And she's like, okay, because like you're not in uniform. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then out of nowhere, like all these cameras, all these lights are like going
Cameras?
on. Yes, there's like, they're videotaping it to like make a commercial, like to promote our school. And so there's cameras everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. So I immediately realized I don't know the dance. I don't know what's going on. I'm not prepared for the day and I'm not supposed to be in this video. So I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So I like stand up to walk out. And as I stand up to walk out of frame, the music starts and my kids pop up. And they start doing their choreography. And I'm just in there and I'm like, I'm sure I can find the video somewhere. And I'm just in the background, dressed the fuck up. And I'm just like embarrassed. I am petrified. Everybody's doing the dance. Like all the teachers are doing the dance. All the scholars are doing the dance and they're singing the song. And I'm just like snapping in the back because I don't know what to do.
Oh my God.
I was so embarrassed.
So you're like in the background of all these t-shirt wearing teachers,
right,
wearing a cardigan, snapping.
Literally.
Oh my God.
That is exactly correct. So I still get like shit about it to this day. Like my scholars will be like, remember that time you didn't know the dance? And I'm like, yeah, I remember the time I wasn't in the staff email too, okay? Otherwise I would have been waiting outside with all the other substitutes. I thought I was showing initiative coming in here to pick up my kids on time.
No.
But no. There was a dress rehearsal. But didn't know. It was so embarrassing. It was...
That is terrible.
Yeah, I don't ever want to deal with that again. Honestly, my brain blocks it out of my life, which I'm very thankful for. There's a lot of things I wish I could block out of my life.
Oh yeah.
Like one time in 6th grade, I had like my first real boyfriend, quote unquote real boyfriend. And I remember texting him, do you prefer being called babe or baby? And he was just like, oh, that's kind of weird. And it wasn't embarrassing until I got my phone. I was at a slumber party when I texted that, and the people I was at the slumber party with literally took my phone and were like, oh, who are you texting? And then read my text out loud, and I was like, mortified.
Oh,
I'm literally mortified.
bitches.
So that happened. Same guy. I ended up seeing him like 7-8 years later down the road, and I run into him at the mall, and I'm leaving the mall and he's entering the mall, and I see him, and I only have one bag in my hand, and he like looks at me and instead of waving like a normal fucking person,
What the fuck did you do?
I took my pointer finger and just scrunched it a couple times. And I did it really close to my face too. I was like, I don't know why I did that, but like I wish I could take it back.
So you finger waved.
I finger waved. I did a little finger crunch roll supreme and just, oh my god.
And so what did he do?
Literally ignored me, which I'm very thankful for. Like I'm so happy he did not acknowledge it. Can you imagine if he did it back?
Imagine if he asked you, so what was that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm so thankful he didn't try to like continue that, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so like petrified. And I'm a very confident person, but for some reason with him, I just become very awkward. Like everything about him, every interaction I've ever had with him, incredibly awkward. Like I don't know what, and he's not even like so handsome to where I don't know how to feel. Like it's not like that at all. It's literally just the fact that whenever I see him, I remember that like moment at the slumber party where I was so embarrassed. I would literally have flashcards to study to like learn about him because I wanted to remember these things about him, and I had a shitty memory. So I wanted to remember. So I made flashcards. I was like, Dr. Pepper is his favorite. Avenged Sevenfold's a good band. Like Skillet is his favorite band. Like I still remember it to this day.
Me too. Red is his favorite color.
Red is his favorite color, and it's like, oh wow. Oh,
I don't remember anything on my finals though.
No, I don't remember.
Just his interest.
Plate tectonics? What is that? I have no
clue.
Like, Don't
know.
Avenged Sevenfold is his second favorite band.
Yeah, after Skillet.
Yeah, because Christian rock is the only rock in his book.
God rock my world.
Literally.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember the time, can I say Paco? Like,
yeah.
his party?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So do you remember at Paco's party where I saw that guy that I had a biggest crush on for the last like a year?
Yeah.
At least a year. I saw this guy when we were all at the beach together, and I told Kristen, this is one of Kristen's friends, and I was like, Kristen, I like him a lot. And she was like, okay, go for it. So I was not his type back then. I tried, and he was uninterested. And I was like, you know what, fine, I'll try again later when I get hot. So I got hot. I went to this party, and I was getting all of these guys' attentions. I felt gorgeous. I was like, you're cute. They think I'm cute. I'm killing it.
Yeah.
So this entire time, I have like 3 guys like ready to talk to. And this guy walks in, and I was like, oh, Kristen, look who just walked in. Like, he doesn't even live here, but he walked in.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yes, this is gonna happen. So I was like, Kristen, I'm gonna do it. And she's like, fucking go for it, bitch. Do it.
Yeah.
Like, she was my hype girl the whole night. So hours come by, I'm a little buzzed. Like, I'm very drunk.
Yeah, you were very intoxicated.
I'm very drunk. So I'm getting this guy's number, and before that, I tell that guy that walked in, I was like, hey, let's go upstairs, because we were flirting the whole night. And he was feeling it, I was feeling it. I was like, hey, let's go upstairs and do something.
Yeah.
And then
he was feeling it so much. I'm sorry. But he was feeling it so much that whenever I went outside to go get another drink, he followed me out, and he was like, so what's up with Myra? I'm like, what's up with you?
Yeah.
I'm like, Myra's dropping all these clues, and you are just letting them fall on the floor. Don't disrespect her. I'm like, go up there and have sex with my best friend.
Like, I don't even drop clues. I tell them straight up, like, hey, let's go upstairs.
Yeah, she's literally like, it's better upstairs, huh? We should go
upstairs. Like, the music's better, the drinks are better, I'm better.
Let's go upstairs.
Right.
And I remember after that, he was like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to her. I'm like, obviously.
Right. So during that conversation, I'm getting another guy's number. Like, this new guy. Yeah. I'd never seen him, and he'd never seen me. So I'm getting his number, and then this guy walks by, grabs my arm, he's like, hey, let's go. So I'm like, oh, okay. We're doing okay. So I put my phone back in my pocket, save that guy's number real quick. I'm like, hey, be right back real quick. Follow this guy upstairs. And I'm like, this is it. This is happening. So suddenly, my drunk ass sobers up just a little bit. And I'm like, hey, bitch, you're on your period. And you don't have any condoms.
I just forgot about
I
that.
know he doesn't have any condoms because who comes to a party from my high school best friend, you know, with condoms?
Right.
Probably him, but he didn't have him. So he's like, yeah, fuck it. So I tell him we're making out, and I'm like, hey, you should know this. I'm on my period. I don't want you to, you know, do anything you're going to regret. But I just want you to know. And I was like, I'm cool with it if you're cool with it, but I just want you to know I don't have any condoms and I'm on my period. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So I'm like, all right, fine. So I go to the bathroom, I handle my business, take that shit out, grab a towel, throw that shit on the bed, don't touch anything else. And then we're like, you know what? Let's do it. So we're going for it. I am pleasantly surprised. It is exactly what I expected. I was like, I am glad I am doing this.
Oh my god.
This is exactly what I imagined at the beach last year.
Ew.
Hey, it was fun. So we're doing it, and I don't remember anything after that. Just remember what it looked like, and then I remember going downstairs. So after that, I clean up, I put the towel in the dirty hamper, and I go downstairs, and I just see Kristen and Paco and all of our other friends watching us walk downstairs with my bedhead, and him looking drunk as hell. We're both drunk as hell. And I immediately look at Paco in his eyes. I'm like, Paco, I am so sorry. That's the first word that comes out of my mouth. And he's so drunk. He wakes up, looks at me, and he's like, I can't believe you just did that.
I know. I still, to this day, I tell Paco all the time, I'm like, I'm really sorry.
Yeah. Oh, my God. And then after that, he fell asleep, the guy.
Yeah.
And then we went home.
Literally right after that, I was like,
Right
we're
after
done,
that.
let's go home.
Yeah, that was it. And then the other guy, what happened? Oh, yeah, my hookup fell asleep right after. And I was like, yeah, I put us to sleep. So everyone's making fun of him because he fell asleep. And then the guy that got my number earlier, he was like, hey, let me boy alone. He just got pussy. Like, don't get mad at him.
He still hit him up. That guy still hit you up. even
Yeah,
though
he still wanted to hang out.
Yeah.
He wanted to hook up with me right after.
I know, that's what I was saying. I was like, I don't think she's into that.
Yeah, like he saw me afterwards and I'm wiping the sweat off my forehead. He's like, hey, so want to go back upstairs? And I'm like, I'm not a fucking toy. Like, I'm not going to get passed around.
Right.
This is my dream hookup for the last year that I handled and I got out of my business. Like, now I'm over that. But I just needed it out of my business.
Oh my god, I literally can't imagine.
Oh my god, I'm just glad I got it over with because I would still be wondering what it looks like.
Yeah, and then you would go on another date where he would just wear a zip-up hoodie with no undershirt.
Full of
No
regrets.
seatbelt, yeah.
No seatbelt, no money, no bed. I think that is all the stories I have. I don't want to
For
relive.
today.
I don't want to live anymore. This is all I can take.
Honestly. I can't even imagine. Like, my stories aren't half as bad, or they're not bad stories. It's just like my stories aren't half as detailed as yours. And
Right.
I have my brain to thank for that. My brain is like, I'm doing you a favor, block it out.
Yeah, no, I literally had to text one of these guys and be like, hey, can I use your story because it's really funny and I know you watch a podcast.
Yeah.
So just yes or no.
But that is going to do it for us this time, y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to follow us on Instagram if you are not already. Our Instagram handle is at Just Confused Podcast.
Yes.
I got it this time.
You got it.
So thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. I am Kristen.
And I'm Myra, and we're just confused.